Hey Amanda, we need you to host Margaritas with Melissa. What? Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. How are you today? Hi, welcome. So today is usually Margarita Monday with Melissa, but she's not here, so it's me. And we're gonna switch it to, it is Truly Mondays with Amanda. So, how's everybody doing? Tell me what you're drinking. How's everybody's Mondays going? Hey everyone. Hey Darian. Hey Virginia. Hey David. Hey Caitlin. Hi William. Hello. Hi April. Whiskey. All right. Cheers. It is a beautiful day, Virginia. Ooh, October Beer Fest. All right, so you're probably wondering, where is Melissa? Well, she is our secret guest today. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Oh, I love the intro. I feel so special.
All right. Hi, Melissa. How are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm good. Let me back this up. I'm a lot closer than I thought.
I know. I didn't realize how close I was either.
I think you get closer when you get on with the live.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I'm not that.
Yeah.
I thought I was too far. Now I'm too close.
Well, hello.
Hello. Tell us what you're drinking today.
Oh, I'm actually drinking, don't shoot the messenger, but it's Oktoberfest from Altamont Brewworks in Livermore. We were actually gifted this from Visit Concord. So I'm enjoying our gift from our lovely partners over at Visit Concord.
Shout out Visit Concord. Hope you guys are watching. All right. And,
hi, everyone.
So tell us about yourself.
So I am the Director of Programs and Marketing here for the Concord Chamber. Oh, Kevin's drinking the same. Cheers, Kevin. I am born and raised in Martinez, but if you lived in Martinez, you knew that there wasn't a ton to do in Martinez. No offense to them, but, to get to all the restaurants and all of the kid activities, we were in Concord a lot, whether we're shopping at Sun Valley, going to Waterworld, which is now Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, even getting some of our craft stores, because I was a huge crafter as a kid. So I spent a lot of time here in Concord, but I went to Alhambra High School, graduated in 2009, and I went to DVC for the first 2 years. And I'll get into a little bit about my internship a little later. But I interned at Sun Valley Shopping Center in the marketing department through my senior year of high school and through working at DVC. I went into DVC knowing I wanted to go into business marketing, so that helped me kind of fast track my route to transferring 2 years later to Sacramento State University, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration with a marketing emphasis. And throughout going to school at Sac State, I actually came back and forth and interned at Sun Valley a little bit more. And then I also had an internship at Make-A-Wish, Northern California, up in Sacramento while I was going to school there. So I graduated in December of 2013, and the job market was a little rough in Sacramento. I was applying for jobs, but everyone at the time was still applying. And I decided to move back home to the Bay Area and see if I could find some work here. And that is where I'm going to lead into telling you guys how I actually got my job at the chamber. So while I was in search for a job, I kept in contact with my former boss, Kim Trupiano, who also worked at Sun Valley, and she invited me to a networking event, believe it or not, and that is where I met our former president CEO, Marilyn Fowler. And I was spunky that day, and I brought my resume to that event, and I was handing it out to people, and Marilyn looked at me and she said, I don't have a job open right now, but if I do, I'll let you know. Well, 2 months later, she's calling me saying, hey, I have a job. If you don't have one yet, come interview. And for that time, it was the membership coordinator. So I've done a lot here at the Chamber. I started off as membership. And for those who don't know, that is William's role right now. And when our events coordinator left, she left in about, I think, 2015. Marilyn realized that the event planning and all the organization and the social media was more of a fit for me. And so she asked if I wanted to slide over into the events role. And from there, it more developed into what my role is today as Director of Programs and Marketing.
Wow.
So I'm still a local kid, still live in Martinez, still come to Concord all the time.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. All right. So let's see. So you explained about your previous work experience and how you got the job at the Chamber. You've been at the Chamber for about 5 years now.
Correct.
What did you expect when you first started working for the Chamber versus what you know now?
So it's funny you ask that. When I first met Marilyn and when she had asked me to interview, I knew nothing about what a chamber was. So I was on the website, and I think you've actually expressed when I've interviewed you before that you felt the same way. And again, I'll get into this later, but chambers are a very traditionally older type of organization, but we're trying to revive it now, which is good to have young professionals working in the chamber world. So to be perfectly honest, when I first started, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been in sales, really. I was always in more of the marketing realm. So sales for me was a little bit harder to kind of grasp onto. I was okay at it. I'll say I was okay. So coming into the chamber, I didn't fully understand how much the chamber really does for the businesses and the community at large. Where versus now, I could tell you the value of the chamber and how we help businesses and connect each other and really create that economic vitality that is so important in our area. I know there's other chambers around, but really Concord is the largest city in Contra Costa, and we feed into so many other cities that a lot of people come here. So I went from 0 to now 100 of not knowing what a chamber was to I preach the chamber no matter where I am. All my friends always say, can you just turn it off? And I'm like, no, it's just, it is what it is. We could be out standing in line and people are talking. I'm like, oh, by the way, did you know this? And they're like, what?
Or we're sitting at dinner or lunch or something and we're hearing the next conversation and we're like, oh, did they talk about a new business? Should we
I don't know what
give them
that
our
is.
business card?
It's very true.
It is very true.
Hashtag chamber life. That's so true.
Yeah, hashtag chamber life. Thank you, Darian.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. He says I'm a natural.
Oh, you are a natural.
Thank you.
You bleed chamber blood.
Purple. I bleed chamber purple.
Oh, see, love that. That's the new hashtag. Bleed chamber purple.
I'm going to write that down.
Write that down. We have great ideas. We might come up with a lot of good ideas on this live. This is
We
all
might.
we really do back and forth is come up with great ideas. Okay, so you've worked for both a nonprofit and a profit. What are the differences and what are the similarities?
One of the glaring differences is the money. The chamber is a nonprofit. We're a 501c6, so it's a different type of nonprofit. We do have an education component attached to us, which is a 501c3 called Community Alliance for the Future. So we're always raising funds, but it is different. I went from when I worked at Sun Valley, having a budget for social media to working for the chamber where we're really getting creative with how we promote certain things and how we really target certain social media channels and what we're placing in our emails and everything. So that it is a big piece of it. having that money aspect. But, you also see some similarities too of, the value and the mission of each of the companies is really, well, from what I've only really worked for two companies at this point, Sun Valley and the Chamber. So you kind of look at it similarly too, that you're trying to promote your community. So either it was at the mall and I was trying to promote the stores of my community, or at the Chamber where I'm trying to support all of the businesses as a community. So for me, I've been very lucky to have that community and family sense in any place that I've worked, and everyone's gotten along so well and very focused that it's one mission that you're trying to accomplish. So everyone needs to work together, and everyone is trying to fight for the same thing and make the best of what you can. So those are some similarities and differences that I find.
Yeah, because teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
It really
Without
does.
teamwork, we wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have come up with Bleed Chamber Purple.
Yeah, we wouldn't have come up with Margarita Monday.
We wouldn't have come up with Holidays, Hollywood. What is it? Holidays with Holly? Holly Holidays? No, I can't remember.
Holidays.
Holly Happenings. And this is how the Chamber functions.
Yes, it is. It's organized chaos, but it's the good kind.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So you mentioned that you've interned before. What was the experience like, and how do you think it prepared you to pursue your career?
So in high school, and this all wraps together too, I took an ROP class, and that's one of like the college readiness classes my junior year. So I needed a filler in my schedule, and I saw marketing in it, and I decided to take it. And we learned all the fundamentals of marketing in high school. And then when I got to my senior year, I took a second round of marketing. We called it marketing 2, but we ran the student store. We worked on special projects. We worked with like the drama department to create flyers for the performances coming up. And so that class alone helped, but getting the internship from Sun Valley, my marketing teacher in high school actually had a connection with Kim, my former boss, and I had interviewed actually my junior year, but our Kevin, I will get to our next crowd feed. I interviewed my junior year, but a senior had also interviewed, and so we decided that she should take the internship, so she was going to be graduating high school soon. So come senior year, I knew I had this internship. And the one thing I must say I appreciate about this internship was I didn't feel like an intern. I always felt part of the team. I wasn't the one go fetching coffee and making copies for everyone. Every time I was given a task, it was always kind of prefaced with, every task we're giving you isn't something that we would have had to do on our own. So whether that's me attaching gift cards or little coupons to USB drives for Santa sets, or whatever it may be, I always felt like I was a part of the team and that my opinion mattered. And they listened to what I was saying, especially because I was giving them a completely different mindset of what the shopping center should be going through. You know, I was kind of that prime target for the shoppers at that time. So it was a collaborative effort. And even working at Make-A-Wish, which was a lot of fun, very rewarding as well. I did a project for them in one of my classes at Sac State, and that's how I ended up getting introduced to them. But same thing is they really did listen to what you were saying, but also taught you along the way, that they were making sure they took the time to teach you what they had to accomplish, so you know why they were doing those things and how that related back to the business, and you were contributing to a bigger whole of it. So that's how I feel it prepared me. Is, you know, again, I was very lucky to have the people around me that I did that took me under their wings and really explained everything. And I think that helped me then later on in my career be more comfortable talking to people and, you know, presenting to, you know, the higher ups and speaking with them, and even just going out and talking to random people as it is. I think that's a huge thing. Public speaking is the number one fear that people have. So that's helped a lot. But even just those personal skills, the email skills, the soft skills that you learn early on definitely helped me even through now.
Yeah, they definitely help. I wish I would have, you know, took that route and you know, everybody has different routes. Everybody does everything differently, but it definitely would have helped. I mean, I'm still wonderful no matter what, but
Of course you are.
I compliment myself a lot. But, you know, a lot of those things I would have had done, and I would have, you know, I probably would have been in a different place.
Right. And, you know, I definitely preach internships too, no matter what age you are, if you can, because that can make or break what you're wanting to go into. I was lucky that I picked marketing in high school. I chose it as my major through college, and I stuck with it as a career. Where if I had chosen something else and I got an internship, say it be a 3-month internship, that maybe I wouldn't have liked it, and maybe I would have realized that that wasn't for me, and I could have then moved on from there. Sometimes you hear of people that they finish school in some sort of degree and then they take a completely different career path, where I feel the internship helped me solidify through college that this is definitely what I want to be doing.
That's great. That's really great. All right. So why is being involved with education so important to you?
So I'm kind of a product of that. So like I said earlier, I took a class that was an ROP class, and for those who are in the Mount Diablo's Unified School District, it's kind of like your career pathways, but not really. It's still a career college readiness, but it's definitely more focused on teaching towards a profession, where versus like your English class, so you're learning your basic English skills. The ROP classes were teaching you the skills for that specific area. And so I always preach being involved with education because, one, I'm a product of it, but two, we're the ones that can help shape the future of our future employees and employers. That if I can share my experiences and what I've learned in the fields and what I'm hearing in the fields with the students, that it might help them, one, either choose a career on their own in a different path, but also, two, it might help them fully understand it and kind of get an idea of what it would be really like to be in that field. So we're at the Chamber, we're very involved. We have a business education committee that we're very involved with. We're very involved with the school district. I actually have a meeting next Monday with the school district, and that is where we get together with teachers. And so the importance of that is we get together with the teachers to say, hey, this is a new thing that we're experiencing in our industry. This is something that I think the students should be learning, but also then helping the teachers shift curriculum to know what they should be teaching towards. And that's really important. If we're just teaching just to teach, these kids aren't going to learn what they really need. When I was going through and taking my classes at Sac State and even at DVC, I learned a lot, but because I had experienced a lot of that through my internship, it was easier to apply as I was working it myself. So even having that hands-on and even being able to talk to the students on their own, you know, we have a young professionals group here at the Chamber, and one of my dreams is to have them go in and mentor some students, because we're, no offense to anyone, but we're a little bit closer in age to what they're experiencing. So if the young professionals can come in and say, hey, I've gone through this within the last 10 years, this is what I've experienced, it might help them see how they can go through these same struggles or, you know, successes in life.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. So
Kevin
if anybody wants to volunteer,
hey, you know where to find us.
Applications.
Kevin asked, are you still taking any classes or any training? Actually, some classes I would like to take are through HubSpot. Alicia Calvin, who used to work with Visit Concord, has gone through some of those. But actually, the Chamber itself is offering some trainings, or we're going to be offering more trainings in the future, whether it be social media training, sexual harassment training, whatever you can think of. The Chamber is wanting to host those for our community members. If you're a Chamber member or not, we feel that training is definitely a way to keep you up to date, get your mind going. You might learn something that you had never thought about before, or you might then be able to collaborate with other people in that training and talk to them and work together. So I would definitely like to sharpen up my social media skills. I've had a lot of experience with that, but I think there's some things that we could do to better suit the Chamber and target a larger audience. But there's a lot. I'd love to go through some event courses to sharpen up our event skills, especially right now with COVID. how we can work on hybrid events or virtual events and make them the best that they can be. So there's a lot out there that I'd still like to go through.
Awesome. That's great.
Kevin, I'm always looking through to your soul.
All day long. Whether it's virtual or not. Hashtag chamber life. All right. So why do you think the chamber is important to the city of Concord and the community at large?
Oh gosh, we work together very closely with the city and the community at large. Excuse me. I'm going to take a sip of my Oktoberfest.
Here, cheers.
Mm.
Cheers.
Cheers. For those who don't know, a lot of chambers around the country act as that economic development arm of the city. We're lucky enough in our city of Concord to have an economic development team, and we work very closely with them. You know, some days we're on the phone daily with them. And so I think it's important also to work together because, again, kind of like what I said earlier, is we're working all for one greater good. We want to bring businesses into Concord. We want to make sure that they're having the best experience in our city that they can, and that they're working together and they're collaborating and they're the ones thriving out in the community, but also that our community understands what businesses are here and how the businesses can help them, and how spending your money locally is so important for your local economy, because that's how the roads get fixed, and that's how we create a very strong, hyper local, thriving community for everyone to live in. We always say we want people to eat, live, sleep, work in our area, and I think it's important. Our local aspect is very important with that, and we can achieve that by working together with our city, because sometimes too, we might hear things from our businesses that the city might not necessarily hear. But sometimes the business doesn't know who to contact within the city. Sometimes the businesses don't feel comfortable speaking to them, and we can act as the liaison. Or sometimes the city might need to reach out to certain businesses, and we have that contact that they might not have. So us working together is very important for everyone to create a very strong one local community for everyone to be in. And we do things like what we just did recently with the city of Concord, where we worked with them to give out $650,000 worth of small business grants. 130 businesses in our community received $5,000, and that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't us working together. And so it's good for us to work together because, again, we want our businesses to thrive as much as they can in our community. And, you know, of course, I want Concord to be the best in our area. That's why we're the greater Concord Chamber of Commerce.
We are greater.
We're the greatest.
Exactly. So why don't you tell us your experience with the grant program, since you mentioned it? Like, how is it for you?
It was a lot of work. So each city that got their grant funding through the CARES Act, through federal money, we got to write our own programs. So we did some research. Our City of Concord Economic Development Team, Marie, is a huge part of this as well. She did some research as well, and we talked to some other cities to see how they distributed the funds. And from there, we were able to create our program. And so Kevin and I, again, like I said, we were on daily calls with Marie, going over what's the eligibility, who is the priority, you know, what deadlines, what can they use the money on, what does this look like? And so we turned around the program from us hearing we were going to be working on this program down to us administering the program for a week in August. It was about 27 days. Yeah. So it was a lot of work for us, and we're proud to be a part of that, because that, again, that shows we're working for our businesses and we care about them and we want them to stay in business. And we know these are really hard times, but this is how we can help you through the tough times, even, you know, just to get you a little bit further. So the writing the program up through itself, that was an interesting experience. The week of the program was a lot of work. Excuse me. We fielded a ton of calls, emails. We even were able to get a Spanish hotline and someone to translate into Spanish for us any of the documentation, because we recognize that the monument area is definitely one that's heavily Spanish speaking, and we want to make sure that those businesses also have an equal opportunity of receiving the grant. So it was very important for us, to work together, but try to reach as many businesses as we could. So that week was a lot. It was constant phone calls and helping businesses through the process of going onto the website and finding the application and what forms do I need, what documents do I have to upload, how do I upload it. But I think it was also nice for us to be able to help those businesses through it, even if it took us an hour. You were on the phone for an hour with one of the businesses. We had a lot of 15-minute conversations saying, hey, you need this document. Or even after the program was closed, we were still following up with the businesses. Hey, this document's not signed. Do you mind sending it? And that's the personal touch that I think our businesses needed right now. It's hard enough through COVID to stay in business, but knowing that someone out there is helping fight for your business, I think is good for them to know and might make them fight a little bit harder to stay in business.
Yep. Exactly.
But it's also rewarding too to hear we're getting calls and emails of people saying, hey, I got the money, or, can I use the money on this? What about this? And us still helping those businesses is huge.
It's huge.
It was a learning experience, which I think is great for the chamber too, because now we have that experience moving forward and how we can keep excelling in what we offer.
Yeah. And we've actually have gotten calls, I believe, from 2 other cities about it with questions, which was great. It was awesome. We love sharing knowledge with other cities on what we're doing and how we can collaborate together and also help them if we can.
Absolutely. Even if it's in the future.
Yes, exactly.
We're here for you, no matter what.
Always here. The chamber is always here. Just
always.
Give us a call. 925-65. 81.
Yep. Info at conquerchamber.com.
Yeah.
Conquerchamber.com is the website.
Yes. All right. So, why is the chamber important for young professionals? I think this question is a great question.
I've been with the chamber since 2014, and the young professionals, I must admit, have been a roller coaster for us. Me actually being one of the typical ones that young professionals now, we're switching jobs every 2 to 3 years, but there's a lot to learn out there. We might realize that an industry isn't for us. We might realize that maybe the nonprofit sector is a better route for me versus the public or private. There's a lot of collaboration and learning from each other, learning from our mistakes. Josh Keene is a great example. He always says he wants to hear people's mistakes that they've made and how they've overcome them. And I think that's huge for us starting out in our careers, that if we can learn from mistakes now, that'll make us stronger in the future. But also, we call them seasoned professionals here at the Concord Chamber, talking to the seasoned professionals who've been in business a little bit longer than us and learning how they've adapted and how they've learned things and what mistakes have they made that we can learn from. But also us, the opposite way, us sharing with them, hey, here's social media, here's how to use it to better your business. So I think there's a give and a take, but the young professionals, it's a great group to be a part of. You get together with like-minded individuals, kind of in that same age range. We say 21 to 40-ish. Everyone's, of course, welcome to come to the events, but it's a good group to be a part of. I've had people get new jobs because of other young professionals that they've met. I've had people move on from jobs because of certain things that they might have learned or have been exposed to a new industry that they thought they might want to be a part of. But it's a lot of it is getting together and collaborating and learning from each other that I think is huge for us. That you might hear of an experience from someone, say, I saw Caroline was on here from Visit Concord. Caroline might have experienced something that you might not have, and she can shed that light to you, and then moving forward, okay, hey, Caroline went through this. This is how I can do this. So there's a lot to learn from each other.
Yeah. No, when I was being interviewed, Marilyn and you talked about, the young professionals group, and I was like, oh, well, that sounds kind of cool. I didn't really know what it was. I really didn't know what the chamber was at the time, but I was just like, that sounds kind of cool, like, because you never know who you're gonna meet. It's all about, like, I didn't realize what that was before the chamber. Like, I just, went on Indeed and I applied for jobs and whatever. But now, working at the chamber and seeing how it all works, how that networking aspect is important, because you're definitely going to like someone you can see face to face, even if we can't be face to face now. But
there's Zoom for that.
Exactly, rather than just, it's John Doe on an application. You can put a face to the name. And that's really, it's a really great, I really want to watch it grow.
Yeah.
Make it grow as much as possible.
I think we have our new Young Professionals chair on this call. So we'll be talking to her shortly so we can get that group up and running again. Through COVID, the Young Professionals has taken a little bit of a back burner, but because we've had to get through it ourselves as well. But we realize right now that that's something that I think our area could use as a Young Professionals group. A lot of people, unfortunately, have lost their jobs because of COVID and businesses being shut down. But if that's something that we can help them rebound from and get jobs and meet with people, and maybe we get a new business out of it because we have an entrepreneur in the group who wants to start something.
Absolutely.
Or recently, we had Trevor Williams, who used to work for MB Contract Furniture. He called me and was looking for some things and was wondering if we knew any businesses that did these certain aspects. And I had connected him with a few people. He had 2 different questions, and I connected him with 2 different people. And, that's part of the chamber at large, but also he was very active in the Young Professionals group. So his network grew because of that. And so he was able to connect with them and say, hey, we might not have business right now, but let me think about that. Or in the future, we can work together on this. So it's huge. If we can help businesses out, I'm all for it.
Yep. That's what we're here for. All right. So how has shelter in place impacted the chamber, and how has the chamber adapted?
The shelter in place, we had been watching it, and luckily, I'm going to reference Crab Feed now. Crab Feed is one of our biggest events, and we had luckily gotten through it a couple weeks before we shut down. Like, I think Crab Feed was on February 21st, and then, we shut down 3-4 weeks later. So we were very lucky with that. But immediately as we were watching it, the day before we went into the shelter in place, we decided to invest in Zoom, and we really brushed up on our Zoom skills. So from the beginning, we haven't skipped a beat. We've actually increased our video platforms. We haven't missed any of our events. We've had our mixers. We've had our First Friday coffees. We've had women's groups. We didn't have our senior expo. That was supposed to be right as COVID was happening, but we all know that seniors was one of the highest risk with COVID. So we felt that it was a good decision to postpone that for now. We didn't have our bus tour, but we might be working on something about that. So besides those 2 events, monthly events, we're still meeting, and we're still trying to keep in touch with as many of our members as we can. We are looking at how to do something like a hybrid or a virtual Crab Feed, which will be back in 2021 at some point. But, those are important things that as a staff we get together and we really evaluate, okay, how can we be better serving our members? Is it continuing to have our virtual events online? Because even though we can't have in-person networking events, can I maybe break them out into groups like what we did at our last mixer and still have a filler type networking event? People are still able to talk to each other and still collaborate. So it's those type of things that we really try to adapt as much as we can. William has us on this new platform that we're going to be testing out, hopefully maybe working with our members here in the future. It's kind of a cool networking avatar really cool type website.
You're going to be like, whoa, am I back in the 2000s? It's going to be...
Yeah, exactly. So, we've really worked hard. I felt I had never been busier at the beginning of COVID because we were all fielding calls and emails and trying to connect with businesses. How can we help you? At the beginning of this, Kevin was relentlessly helping businesses through the PPP process and helping them apply and talk to the banks. And we were really busy. And again, we're here to help businesses. That's our mission. We want to see them thrive. So If that meant I was working later nights because I know I was helping people, I'm okay with that because that's what we're here to do. And that's important to us. So we're constantly as a team working together to try to reevaluate. Here are some things that we think we could improve on. Here are some things we think we can add. The trainings is a great example. If we can't have networking events that are very important to our members, what other things do they need? Some of them might need something like a sexual harassment training or a diversity training that they, especially if you're a smaller business, you might not have an HR department that leads that. So if we can be that resource for businesses, this is the time for us to really, really step up and help out the community.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to join the chamber or new to the chamber to best utilize their membership? And what about a young professional?
So I'm going to voice what William always says, and it's engage as much as you can. And I know it's hard. Everyone is so busy, but the more you engage, even if it's just through an email, the more that you will get out of it too. Again, some people might just want to sit back and take some of the trainings. Some of them might just want to attend the events. But we find that the businesses that engage, even just with us, I'm constantly referring people out. Hey, this is a great person for this. I actually saw someone on Facebook today in one of the, it might have been Concord Comes Alive Facebook groups saying, is there a chiropractor out in Concord, Walnut Creek, or Pleasant Hill? So I immediately tagged 3 of our chiropractors. And it's because I also know them because they've engaged with us. So if you can build that trust within each other, you're more likely to do business with people you trust. So those are the referrals that come through. But even just getting to know people saying, hey, Amanda, I'm looking for a painter in the chamber or to paint my house. Do you guys have one? And Amanda could say, yeah, great. We have this person. So it really helps us too to understand what businesses are out there so we know who to refer out. And that's a big part of it too. But engaging is definitely something that's really important. And we try to engage you as soon as you join, even before you join, we're reaching out to you. We send a lot of emails, and I'm sure those who are watching, you guys know that. We're sending 2 a week right
Melissa's
now.
emails.
You guys probably know my email by heart and say, oh, Melissa's emailing us. But, there's also a lot of information for us to convey out there. So even if the only way you can engage right now, let me think. Example, American Swim Academy. Pools weren't open for a while. So the way that they were engaging with us was sponsoring our e-blasts. So, it's a different way of engaging, but they're still getting the word about their business and they're still asking us to help them with that. And we have a wide reach of viewers of those emails, the subscribers. So Kevin's saying it's the world record setting emails. Yes, our emails can be long. However, that also tells me that our members really are looking to us to help get the word out about them. They're looking for a marketing arm. They're looking for more word of mouth. And if that's all they need from us, that's fine. But, a lot of people don't realize that we can feature events or whatever the members have going on. Reach out to us. We can do that for you. We can post your jobs. We can post any deals you have, any press releases. And if that's all the engagement that you can do at the time because you are very time restrictive of what you can come to, then that's fine. But, reach out to us and even just ask us like, hey, what can the chamber do for me? Here are my needs. What can I do in the chamber and how can you guys help me? Same thing for young professionals. This is kind of an overall arching answer for that, but especially for the young professionals, engagement is key. You want to meet those like-minded people so you know who you can rely on. We had a young professionals leadership program back in 2019, I think it was.
Yeah, started.
Right. Okay. Right. So I kind of call that like your family. And it's the same thing with our business referral group. That's your family, your cohort. Go to those people. You might not have that. You might not know who to do business with. You might need a contact and just so happens that that person in that group might have it, or that you're working on ideas together. Sometimes you just need to spout things off to hear it out or talk it through with someone. I do that with Amanda all day long. Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this? But sometimes you just need to hear it for it to make sense in your brain. So if you can find those people that in the leadership program, we called it our board of directors, and it was different areas. Who's like your coach? Who is a mentor? Who is kind of that third party that you might not talk to all the time, but is there to listen. So there's different people that you can talk to for different things. And I thought that was a cool idea too.
Yes.
So writing down your board of directors, who can I go to for these different things, is important.
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to think of things.
Yeah. All right. What is your favorite monthly event, and what is your favorite annual hosted event by the Chamber?
Kevin and William are probably going to roll in their graves when I say this, but because I'm not a morning person by any means, and my staff knows that. But I actually really like First Friday Coffee. It's a networking event, it's a business networking event, but it's also very casual and kind of laid back. So people know that they can come there, chat about their days if they want, chat about business if they want. It is more of our casual, of our main networking events versus like our mixer that is a true business mixer that you come, you grab coffee. Kevin usually does some sort of update, what's going on with the chamber, what's going on, especially right now with COVID. It's a fun one to be a part of. Like I said, the casual piece of doing business for me is, it's cool to see with our members too. They relax a little bit and they get into their personal sides and you get to learn a lot about them. My favorite annual event, that's hard. We talk about Crab Feed a lot. Everyone knows Crab Feed is our biggest event and our most stressful event. And but you know, also for us, it's our money maker. So it's important for us to focus on that and make some money off of it. And part of that too, our money from the cakes goes back to our education foundation, which if you guys are interested, I'm going to give it a plug now since I'm talking about it. You can donate online through PayPal to Community Alliance for the Future. It's a 501c3. It focuses on education, not of just students in our area, but also of the business community. We do offer scholarships to graduating high school seniors through it. So we really want to beef that up because we'd love to offer a larger scholarship dollar. Right now we give 6 $500 scholarships, and we'd love to amp that up to maybe 1,000 or 5,000. So we're really going to start pushing for that. And, you know, we might lean on our members to ask to help spread the word about that as well. You know, a lot is happening right now with education and the distance learning, and unfortunately for Mount Diablo Unified, fortunately, but unfortunately, you know, some students don't have access to computers or hotspots. And if we can help provide that, I think that's important. Again, those are our future employees and employers. So if we can help those students get through the schooling as much as we can, I think that's huge. Kevin said it's the best crab feed in Concord for sure. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. That's why we're bringing it back next year. But also, I actually really love our bus tour event. And if you haven't gone on it, and I'm hoping next year at this time, we might be able to bring it back. We go around Concord through different areas, and we partner with economic development with the city of Concord for it, and they usually narrate it. But you learn a lot on that bus ride. Like every year, I'm learning something new. Like fun fact, and I always use this as the example, the lazy river at Hurricane Harbor is the longest lazy river in Northern California. Didn't know that until I went on the bus tour. So you learn a lot, and I've had businesses say there's areas of business that I didn't know existed, especially out in North Concord. You know, learning that there's a John Muir facility out there, and Mount Diablo Resource, and Wave, and Cobham, and Fresenius. There's so many businesses out there that people might not know of, that it's a great opportunity to learn what is here in Concord. And then we usually send the script out to everyone because there's just too much to retain. There's so many facts that everyone says, can we grab the script? And it's like, of course, we want to help you guys too. So bus tour is definitely an informational one. It's a fun one. And you hear people talking about it for the next year until it comes back again.
Yeah, definitely heard it all year long. I didn't get to experience, I think Senior Expo and the bus tour were the two I hadn't got to do yet, which maybe I will one day.
Last year you came on in June, so we had just had Senior Expo and bus tour the 2 months before, and then Shelter in Place happened.
Everything else.
What's your favorite?
So fun fact, I have never been to a First Friday Coffee ever.
Okay, I'll give her a plug. She works for another one of our members,
Yes.
part-time for them as well. So she's at least still in the family.
Yeah.
We'll let that one slide.
That's another thing with the chamber. Like, I never in a million years thought I would be doing accounting. Never. Like, I mean, I did in my past experience. I had accounts receivable, payable, but then, Dan Cunningham with Paget Business Services was willing to was like, here, take a QuickBooks class, take an Excel class, and go. And then, I'll hire you, we'll get started, we'll see how it goes. And it's been great. Didn't realize it was a thing I could do. And it's amazing what I've learned, because honestly, like, I did want to learn QuickBooks, but I never wanted to push myself. I was just kind of like, oh, I'll get to it. But then when I heard I had this opportunity, then I was like, okay, I'm going to take this. And it's been great. It's almost been a year, actually. And that's another thing.
Has it really?
Yeah, November or October, November maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Time flies. And, I wouldn't have gotten that without the chamber. I really wouldn't have. Because, Melissa was like, oh, who would be great?
Always thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys just work with my schedule, and, it's great. It's really been awesome.
No, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's huge with the chamber is it might be random, but it's like, you know what? This person would be great at this. Or, hey, by the way, I heard about this job.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't shut off with all of this. I'm constantly thinking
ever. Not ever. But it's a great thing. It really is. But my favorite event, actually, I don't know what I said my last favorite event when you interviewed me, but I think this past mixer where we really mixed everybody and all the feedback we got, that was great, and how great, and we should do this all the time. I think that's the new way, even if I had technical difficulties. But
I did too.
That makes it fun. It makes it, we're human. We're not perfect. I mean,
exactly.
We are, but we're not.
Yeah.
We try to be.
We'll take that.
I've got the wind blowing in my hair right now.
She does. You have Beyonce hair right now.
Yes, exactly.
I think we found our new Monday Margarita host.
No, it's a Truly Mondays.
Oh, sorry. Truly Mondays.
And then maybe it'll be about like, oh, how is it truly Monday for you or something? What do you guys think? Tell me about your Mondays. I want to know.
There we go.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I think the mixers, before I might have said women's group.
I think you did.
Because it's a really good, group of people, like-minded people. And I love that it's very, personal. I kind of know them a little more. Genuine. I love that it's not just all business. I love, oh, you're wearing, did you do something with your hair? You're wearing a nice dress. You know what I mean? That kind of not so business.
Structured.
Yeah.
And that's why I like First Friday Coffee. But even being here for 5 years total at the chamber, I've been in, working in the community for 6. Like Amanda said, you get to know these people on a personal level, and it's a lot of fun. Hey, Lynn, how was your trip to Oregon? Hey, Tamara, you got a new haircut. It looks great. And it also adds that level of personal interest as well. And so, again, it goes back to that trust, too, that the members know that we're here for them.
Yeah.
And we're willing to listen.
Last week or the week before, we have a current member, but a new rep, and she's moving here from San Francisco, and she needed help, where to move. And, William was like, hey, you live in Concord. You know what to do. Can you just talk to her? And I've been helping her through it. We do all sorts of things at the chamber.
We do. It's that extra mile.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really
yes, we're here for business, but
we want her to move here and feel part of the community, and
right.
Really, the goal is to, live Concord, spend Concord, all of it. Shop locally,
Concord everything.
Concord everything. Bleed Concord. That's the new
Bleed Concord.
Bleed Concord.
You're gonna bleed Chamber purple and bleed Concord.
Bleed Concord. Concord blue and yellow. All right.
Kevin asked, what is the biggest difference with the chamber pre and during COVID? Throughout COVID, we've actually had a lot of members asking us when we can get together. And I think that's interesting that everyone's chomping at the bit to get back into the swing of things and how it was before COVID and we want to meet and we want to mingle and we want to network and pass business and get to know what's going on in the community. And yes, you can do that on Zoom, but there's a different feel. Oh, for me. Okay. I'll get to that in a second too. It's a different feel doing it over, technology versus actually being with someone. You get the mannerisms. Like, you guys can't see it because it's so low, but I'm also Italian and I speak with my hands a lot. So I'm over here like moving my hands all the time, but you get that in real life. For me personally, biggest difference, well, since I do all the events too, it's been different trying to navigate how to still host an event, knowing that I can't get a group together. We're listening to our members. We've had some feedback on some of our mixers, so we've adjusted some of them, tweak it a little bit, so, we're better serving them and what they need versus what I think they need. There's been a lot. I mean, the chamber, again, because we're the Greater Concord Chamber, I feel our chamber's become almost stronger through COVID too. Not that we weren't strong before COVID, but we also had gone through some changes. Marilyn had left. Kevin came on. There was a time that we didn't have a CEO. Kevin came on, and then it was the holidays, and then it was crab feed, and then it was COVID.
Yeah, it was go time.
It was go time. So there was a lot going on. So we're still adjusting to everything. I mean, we're a great team together, but why does Amanda look like she's on a beach model shoot? She has the wind blowing, Sean.
Thank you.
Oh, but okay, here's another example. Life Skills Empowerment Group, that is Sean Eink. He is the president of Life Skills Empowerment Group. We call it LEG, but he's also the owner of 1212 Home Improvement. And next Thursday, he is going to be our guest at our women's group. And so LEG's mission is to teach students some life skills. And so we asked Sean to come on and show us what skills he's teaching them. I'm probably going to learn a thing or two through that as well. But he has also shifted in how he's offering these through Zoom. And it's the same thing for our women's group. Naturally, we'd be in our conference room. Sean would be at the front of the class showing us, what he's teaching these students, but he's going to be on Zoom showing us. So it's different, but I think we've adapted very well to it. I think as a team become stronger. I think we've collaborated.
In front of the camera more is what I feel.
Yes, we are definitely in front of the camera more. We have, oh, hey, it's Kev. William's been doing some interviews. Amanda's the queen of TikTok. I've been doing the Facebook Lives. So I think also, too, we've shifted on how we can really promote the businesses. Sean's also been one of our features on our Margarita Mondays. So
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a really good one. It was interesting to learn about him. Pivot is the key word for 2020. It is. And everyone's pivoting. And I think I'd like to actually pat ourselves on the back. That's one thing that chambers don't do enough is we don't give ourselves enough credit. We're so focused on how we can help our members and our businesses that we need to take a step back and be proud of the work that we're doing. And I think once we really do that too, is when we can even become stronger and more of a force for our community.
Yeah. Well, does anybody have any questions for Melissa? I know you guys have been asking throughout, and that's really great. I enjoy that. That's amazing. But anybody have any questions for Melissa? I did have a question for you, and I'm trying to remember what it was. I'll probably remember after this is over.
We'll do a part 2.
And it was a really great question, too. Yeah, she is. Oh, I remember the question because Kevin just commented. What was it like running the chamber with no CEO? Gosh, it'd been a few months since, I got hired. Marilyn had already retired. I thought that was crazy. I got interviewed with Marilyn and then I came and she wasn't here. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, thank God, Kevin coming on. He just fit like a glove with us. He literally did. We were so worried, scared. We
were.
You never know who you're going to get. And
yeah. just to answer Denise real quick, I was actually, well, technically born in Walnut Creek, but I was born and raised Martinez. So I've been a local girl since I was born, besides the couple years that I was in Sacramento, and then I came back. It was an interesting time. Luckily, Marilyn had spent a lot of time with me, kind of prepping me for what needed to be done in the chamber, especially in the interim. It's hard. She had been here for 24 years. So there was a lot of information that needed to be passed down just to keep the chamber functioning. Like, you know, there were certain things that I didn't know until she was retiring. So we got by. Luckily, our board was there to help us through it. We had a very strong chair that year. That was Caitlin Sly, who's also been one of our guests. Caitlin was a huge help through this, and Patty was too. Patty Deutsch, she was our chair for a month, for the month of June, and then she termed out, and then Caitlin came on. So it was a huge help to have two very strong chairs there for us when it was, hey, I don't know what to do for this. This is normally a Maryland decision. How do I, go about this? And I was very lucky that we were able to hire you on. I wouldn't have been able to survive without you. And then having William too. We have a very strong staff, and Amanda jumped in so quick, and she was so helpful that, leaning on our staff as a whole was definitely very helpful. And going through the process, I must admit, it's a little nerve-wracking because I was used to Maryland and we had our ways. So when we had met the 3 final candidates, I was like, oh, sorry, Kevin. But we're very lucky to have Kevin.
Very grateful.
He does. He fits like a glove here. He's fun to work for, knows how to do business. He's very open with us if there's something we need to do, or if there's something we need to change or work on, or even if it's a new idea. We're always there working together, and I probably couldn't have asked for a better CEO at this time, especially coming in now through COVID. He's jumped in really quick and was able to make some changes for us that has probably kept us in business. So we owe a lot to Kevin too for what he's done for us. And he hasn't even been here a year yet. I think it's October 23rd is his 1 year mark. So he's had a year too. And, luckily Marilyn was able to dump some of her brain onto me with the history and what we needed to do. And so that was helpful in us running during the time where we didn't have a CEO, but also afterwards, so we can still move forward and make changes that we need to, again, to better serve our community.
You hear that, Kevin? Don't forget, this is recorded, so you can watch this all over again. You can play it out loud forever.
Remember that time when you actually said this?
Darian asked, when's our next virtual event?
Actually, this Friday, Darian, if you want to join us. Friday at 8 a.m. is our First Friday Coffee, my favorite event. And we will be on Zoom, of course. Next Thursday, I'll just give you guys the rundown. Next Thursday is our women's group at 12 featuring Sean. On the 13th, we are having a new member orientation. Maximize your membership, actually. So if you are not a chamber member and you would love to learn more about us, join us. We're going to go over our virtual events, offerings of the chamber, how we can help, and even just get to know us a little bit and go into a little bit of how you can utilize our website more. There's a lot of features on there that aren't utilized as much as they should be. And then on the...
All right, minute mark.
15th. All right, I'll quicken it up. On the 15th is our mixer, and we'll be networking at that. Oh, but just one more thing. This Wednesday is our candidates forum. It's District 2, so that is part of the downtown district, but we have 5 candidates that will be participating to learn more about them and what they want to see for the future of Concord. So on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, you guys can tune into that. But everything's also on our website. Everything is on the website. Go to that to learn more about anything that you need, or email us.
Awesome. Yay! And that's it for Truly Monday with Amanda. Sorry, it's going to take some used to getting saying that.
Well, thanks for interviewing me.
Yeah, of course. It was fun.
It's
all
different
right,
being on this side.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, have a great week.